Hi, third graders. Welcome to this read aloud video. Now, you might have noticed that I call this an interactive read aloud, and that is because I read slow. And I don't mean I read slow like I talk slow. I mean I read slow like I soak in everything that's on the page. I take notes. I go slowly. I reflect. I think about the characters. You'll notice me doing this in all of my read aloud videos. I like to read slow. And I hope that you will join me and read slow with me as we read this very special book. Now, there are like 100 million billion reasons why I love reading books, but one of the biggest reasons is that when we read stories, we can either see ourselves reflected in the characters and see someone who's living a similar experience to us and think, there's someone out there like me. Or you can have an experience by meeting a character that is completely unlike you, and you can walk a day in that character's shoes and really get inside their head and feel what it is like to be that character, right? So you might see someone that is similar to you, or you might see someone that is completely different from you. That is something that I thought about when I picked out this book. You might have the connection of, ooh, that's kind of how I feel. I feel nervous. I feel like, I've had similar feelings. Or you might feel like, wow, I've never had those feelings. And you might build some compassion to other people who have those feelings. Okay? That's why I chose this book. It's amazing. Before I start reading, because I read slow, I make sure that I have my tools. I know I'm going to take some notes. So I have my sticky notes, something to write with, my reader's notebook, and my book. Where's my book? Oh, that's right. I don't actually have a physical copy of the book. I had to buy an Amazon Kindle edition of this. So I will be putting the images from the book up on the screen. This is not something I normally do. I like to have real books with paper in my hands as I read them. But this book is so special that I'm making an exception. The Day You Begin by Jacqueline Woodson, illustrated by Rafael Lopez. Here we see some of the artwork from the book. I could have just skipped over these pages, but the illustrator in this book is so amazing and made some beautiful, beautiful pages. I wanted to leave them in. There will be times when you walk into a room and there's no one quite like you. Maybe it will be your skin, your clothes, or the curl of your hair. There will be times when no one understands the way words curl from your mouth, the beautiful language of the country you left behind. My name is Rigoberto. We just moved here from Venezuela. And because they don't understand, the classroom will fill with laughter until the teacher quiets everyone. Slow reader alert. Okay, I'm having some thoughts, and I'm sure you are too. I like to think deeply about how the characters are feeling, and we can see in this book, just from using the words, but also in combination with the pictures, that these characters are feeling what? What word would you put on how they're feeling? I'm going to make a note. So I'm feeling like the characters are maybe feeling nervous or scared or even unwelcome. I wonder how those feelings are going to carry on throughout the rest of the story. Let's keep going. Rigoberto from Venezuela, your teacher says, so soft and beautifully that your name and homeland sound like flowers blooming the first bright notes of a song. Okay, I have to take another note at that. I love that passage. So I'm going to copy it just so in case I need to be inspired later, I'll have it in my notebook. So I'm just going to kind of paraphrase what it said. It was the teacher's voice sounding like flowers blooming the first bright notes of a song. There will be times when the words don't come. Your own voice, once huge, now smaller when the teacher asks, "What did you do last summer? Tell the class your story." "We went to France," Chyla says. "These shells came from a beach in Maine." A boy named Jonathan holds out a jar filled with tiny shells so fragile they look like they'll turn to dust in your own untraveled hands. "My whole family went to India, Spain, South Carolina." Each souvenir a small triumph of a journey, their travels going on and on. And as you stand in the front of that room, you can only remember how the heat waved as it lifted off the curb, and your days spent at home, caring for your little sister, who made you laugh out loud and hugged you hard at nap time. You can only remember the books you kept on reading long after she had fallen to sleep. And in that room, where no one else is quite like you, you'll look down at your own empty hands and wonder, what good is this, when other students were flying and sailing and going somewhere? Well, I think most of us can connect to that. If you were stuck here in Saudi this summer, like I think most of the students in this class were, you were probably feeling like, why can't I go anywhere? Why can't I do anything? You might have heard your friends or your cousins getting together, and you weren't a part of that, and it might have made you feel left out. We could write this down as a connection with the character. There will be times when the lunch your mother packed for you is too strange or too unfamiliar for others to love as you do. When even your own friend, Nadja, will wrinkle her nose and say, "What's in there anyway?" And you'll wonder how she doesn't see the rice beneath the meat and kimchi. You'll wonder why she doesn't remember that rice is the most popular food in the world. There will be times when the climbing bars are too high, the run is too fast and far. The game isn't the one you can ever really play. "I don't want him on our team. You can watch. Maybe you can have a turn later." There will be times when the world feels like a place that you're standing all the way outside of. And all that stands beside you is your own brave self, steady as steel and ready, even though you don't know what you're ready for. Well, I'm definitely feeling a connection to this part too, and I'm going to make a note about it. The boy on this page said he was brave and ready and steady as steel, even though he didn't know what he was ready for. I'm feeling kind of the same, so I'm going to write a connection. This is my symbol for connection. So I wrote, I have a connection. I do feel the same as this boy in this passage. I feel ready and steady as steel, even though I don't know exactly what's ahead. There will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you until the day you begin to share your stories. My name is Angelina, and I spent the whole summer with my little sister, you tell the class. Your voice is stronger than it was a minute ago. Reading books and telling stories, and even though we were right on our block, it was like we got to go everywhere. Reading books takes you places. Your name is like my sister's, Rigoberto says. Her name is Angelina too. And all at once, in the room where no one else is quite like you, the world opens itself up a little wider to make some space for you. This is the day you begin to find the places inside of your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you and something else so fabulously not quite like you at all. This is the day you begin. I hope this story has done what I intended for it to do, which is maybe make you feel a little bit less fearful of what's to come. We may not know exactly what this school year is going to look like, but we're going to become a community. This is the day you begin. This is the day we are going to find each other and connect. Every time we finish writing a book, it's always good to write a few sentences about your thoughts about that book. We call it writing long. Let me do that now. Today I'm going to write that this book made me feel inspired. I loved the way the author made the characters feel like me. And I also noticed there was some beautiful writing, so if I ever need a writing mentor, I could go back to this book. Finally, the last thing I do when I finish a book is I flip to my reading list, my book list, and I add it here. Definitely going to give this a 5 out of 5. I really hope you enjoyed this book as much as I did, and as much as I do every single time I read it. If you have any comments or questions or other connections, or if you want to request a read aloud book, feel free to send me a message. Can't wait to hear from you soon. Bye!